I had been in a relationship with Sarah for 3 years and we got engaged only 6 months ago. It was everything I had dreamed of. Intelligent, caring, attractive, and full of energy. We met through friends we both knew, and it didn't take long for our connection to turn into something meaningful. I truly thought she was my forever person. We were organizing a small wedding, saving money for our ideal house, and even discussing having children someday. Last Friday, Sarah asked me to come to her company's yearly office gathering. I was unsure at first. She had mentioned before that these parties were usually dull, filled with work chatter and fancy wine, but this time she really wanted me, or said she wanted me to finally meet her colleagues. I said yes, thinking it might be nice to see her in her work world among the people she spent most of her days with. The party was held at an upscale rooftop venue in the city. As we got there, Sarah immediately brightened up, hugging coworkers, laughing, and introducing me to a few people. Here and there, she acted so differently, more energetic somehow. But as the evening moved on, I started to feel like a guest in her life. She kept slipping into little groups, leaving me to quietly drink alone at the edge of the crowd. Then came the moment that changed everything. I had stepped away to use the restroom, and when I came back, I spotted her across the room sitting closely with a guy I didn't know. Her posture was too familiar, laughing a bit too loudly at his jokes, touching his arm slightly, leaning in just a bit too much. It was small but clear. I stood still. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe I was imagining things. But deep inside, I felt this wasn't just playful. Trying to stay calm, I walked over to them. Sarah looked surprised. When she saw me, she introduced him as Jake from the finance team and quickly stood up. Jake nodded at me, but there was something arrogant in his grin, something that made me uneasy. Acted like I didn't care, but the feeling of suspicion had already taken hold in my heart. As the night went on, Sarah seemed more distant. She kept saying she was just reconnecting with people and told me to grab another drink or admire the view, but I couldn't stop watching her. And every time I did, she was with Jake, whispering, laughing. One point, I saw them walk off together toward a quieter section of the rooftop. That's when I followed them quietly, carefully, and what I saw broke me. They weren't kissing. Not yet. Jake had placed his hand on her lower back. Sarah didn't stop him. They stood close, murmuring like they were sharing private things. Close, cozy, wrong. It felt like I was witnessing a moment from someone else's life. Someone else's bride-to-be. I didn't say anything to her that night. I drove her home in silence. Noticed I was being cold, but I just said I was tired. I needed space to think, to breathe, to try and understand how the woman I was ready to marry could act like I meant nothing. The next morning I asked her clearly, "Who is Jake to you?" It shifted. He paused, and she lied. Said he was just a teammate. That I was being paranoid. That was the final push. I told her I saw everything. I told her I wasn't looking for excuses. I just wanted to leave. Breaking off the engagement was the most painful thing I've ever done. But I knew I couldn't marry someone who could hurt me so easily and then lie right to my face. Love isn't enough when trust is gone. And after that night, there was no trust left at